Hello everybody, this is Oksana Rudko and my brand of knitted accessories, La Accessory. In this video lesson, I will show you how to make such a summer shopper made of raffia. It's going to be an oversize, it's not even a big size, it is really huge. And we are going to use the canvas, which will make the bottom stronger. Here I have joined two colors, black and this melange color, which has golden, silver and black colors, and combined together looks really nice. So this bag was supposed to be, first of all, of course, a huge summer or beach shopper. So the handles here are really strong and they are sewn so that you can stuff a lot of things inside. I haven't added the lining here so that I can show you from an inside how it looks. So the handles here are made extra strong. They are made in a special thick pattern and sewn on all the sides. Here they are sewn through 3 layers of the bag, which makes it a really nice and strong sewing, which will allow you to use this bag in summer for a lot of things that you need to take with you to the beach. I wanted to make this handle knitted so that it all looks homogeneous and so that I don't worry that the handles will break. In this one, the handles are really strong, although they are knitted. But let's talk about it step by step. So, inside the bag there will be a lining, of course. I haven't sewn it yet, but I'm going to do this later. Just wanted to show you how it looks on the inside. Yeah, here without the lining, how this canvas looks, and show you how you can hide the free ends so that you don't see it. So I'll tell you everything step by step. As you see, this is a really huge bag, and now we will measure it. So let's measure the bottom.
So that is the bottom. Then the height of the bag is
of the plastic canvas
also approximately, because here we have this fold, so we can measure it approximately.
15.5 centimeters, no, maybe
like
16
this.
centimeters would remain together.
It is 37 centimeters, and the width here, where we have the folds, also let's measure from the one side to the other side. Also it is approximate because here we have these folds that stand in our way a little bit. Once again, slightly stretch it, yeah, like this. So 65 centimeters. So this bottom is 42 and the upper edge is 65 centimeters. Pay attention, that is already the finished bag when it is sewn together with the folds. Then the handles. The handles I was making 82 centimeters. They are quite long here in this bag. You can of course make them shorter if you like. So it's up to you. I have used for this bag 1200 meters. That is 5 skeins of raffia. I'll show you which one. So I'll give you all the calculations for the shopper like this and for the shopper that has 32 centimeters if you want to make it slightly smaller. So you have several options for this huge size or a smaller one. For the smaller one you will need perhaps only 4 skeins, so that you have some excess, yeah, so to have some left over and you do not run out of the yarn, or maybe your gauge is slightly different, so you will have to use a little bit more. So I counted a little bit in excess, so that if you have a different gauge and maybe you will use more than I have, you will have enough of the yarn. But now let's have a look at the materials that we will need for this bag. So I'm going to use this vibrant color of Ispiraphia. This has 250 meters, and I will combine it with black color. So I'll show you how it looks when it has a somewhat lighter color. So Ispiraphia is not a natural raphia. It is made of some viscose fibers, so these are artificial fibers. If you turn it like this, it looks like tissue paper actually, and it is important that you do not tear it because it might be torn, but when you make the stitches it becomes stronger. Yeah, you see, when I twist it like this and make a stitch, yeah, sometimes it will tear, but here you just have to be a little bit more careful because any raphia actually can be torn. Fibrinatura, for example, which is a natural raphia, and I like it also, it also has this drawback that it sometimes can be torn if you are not very careful. But when you have already made your bag, don't worry, it will never be torn because it is made of raphia. So one shopper that I used, I was wearing 4 seasons and I took it to the seaside, and I can tell you that nothing happened to it. Also, you can make a wet heat for the raphia. I will show you later how we do this. With this Ispi raphia, you can either make a wet heat for all the raphia that you are going to use, or you can make a wet heat already when you have made the piece, because when you're working the thread is stretching. So frankly speaking, I see no sense in making the wet heat before you start working. You can make it after you have already made the bag, or you can even go without it. But we make wet heat after we have already made the bag, so that the texture will be more even. Also, I'll show you what we are going to need in this masterclass. That is a crocheting hook, of course. I'm going to use 3.5 millimeters here, like this. Maybe you will have to take number 4 if you are used to it. So this is the main tool that you need, is a crocheting hook, of course, both for the work and for the trimming, the same one. Then we will need some knitting markers and either plastic or metal darning needle for joining the pieces together. Then glue. We will need glue so that we can glue the ends, the free ends of the raphia. You can use this one, but I do not quite like it. I prefer to use any other stronger glues. I'll also show you how you can do without glue. I prefer to tie the ends of the raphia and then hide them inside because we're going to make the lining, so anyway they won't be visible at all. Then a pair of scissors, a big pair of scissors for cutting the canvas, plastic canvas that we're going to use, and the fabric, lining fabric, and some smaller scissors so that you can cut the raphia as you go. Then measuring tape, ruler, so these are the essentials. Now I'll show you the canvas that we are going to use for the bottom, and we can just get started the first stage. So now have a look, and this is the plastic canvas which we are going to use in this bag for the bottom. Usually this canvas you can buy in different sizes. I have 42 centimeters here, 42 by 42. So I will leave 42 and I'll just have to measure for our bag 15.5 centimeters. Cut it, but I'll show it to you all step by step, of course. Then canvas openings on the canvas can be different. I have 4 to 5.5 millimeters so that I can insert my crocheting hook into it. One more important thing is that as the same as you do it with a plastic canvas, you can make it in any size. I'll give you calculations for the shopper that is 10 centimeters smaller than the one I'm going to make, and you can actually make it in any size that you like, and then you will have to take any size of the bottom that you like. So here it's absolutely up to you. All the increases, all the stitches, all will remain the same, so the basic principle will be the same, just the size will be slightly different.
So pay attention to that. Okay, let's get started. Let's start with the bottom and canvas. Now we will measure the piece of canvas that we need, cut it and prepare it for our work. So here I'll show you the width is 42 centimeters, and according to the number of openings I'll tell you later, the height that we need here, we need 15 centimeters. So I'll mark 15 centimeters here, and now count the number of openings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26 openings. So make sure that you have 26 openings. Make sure that this number is even numbered. If you're going to make a bag in different size, you just need to take the number of stitches that is divisible by 2, an even number, because you will understand a little bit later. Then we take big scissors, and here be careful, I cut after the mark so that I have the opening, the whole opening like this, and I cut into the next line. So don't worry that the canvas will be twisting. Yeah, now you see that it's not flat on the table, it twists a little bit, but don't worry, it's nothing. Then I would rather cut these little pieces that you see here, so that we have just one smooth line, so that they will not stand in our way when we work. Then you will take a nail file and carefully file this along the lengths and the corners, at least the corners, yes, so that they are not so sharp. And here likewise. Here I'm going to have a lot of yeah, here it is already shaped, I didn't cut, so you file it only where you cut it with scissors, so that you make it less sharp on the edge. If you like, you can also nail all these file all these little pieces so that they will not stick like this, but it's up to you. And so this is ready. Now we'll need to start the trimming. Before the trimming, I will show you how we make wet heat for the raffia if you want to make it. So now I'll take some raffia. While my iron is heating, I will unwrap a little bit like this, so that I can show you how I do the wet heat. So here I have steam regime and You can use linen or cotton option, but you need to press the steam button like this on top and steam the raffia thoroughly like this. When you steam it, you will see that it will start opening, and you see it will have more volume like this way. I'll show you to compare the one that is after the wet heat and one without it. You can see that it starts to be wider and has more volume. Opens, the fibers open, and before you start working, you can do this. You can do wet heat for all the raffia that you're going to use. I usually avoid doing this. I just skip this because it takes a lot of time. You just need to spend hours. And the other option is to make a wet heat for ready-made bag later. So let's start trimming this canvas. We need here, by the way, I have 70 openings, and here I have 26 openings, but it is approximate. Maybe you have slightly different size and so on. So we take 3.5 millimeters crocheting hook so that it can get into the opening easily, and then we take the raffia. Here you need to know that as I'm going to make the pink button, we need to take one strand, although I like to work in 2 strands. Here one will do, and here here we will start making the trimming along the perimeter, and here we'll be working in 2 strands. So how do we make the trimming? First we will go in 1 strand along the contour. So let's start. You can start anywhere you like. I prefer to start somewhere in the corner usually. So we need to insert the hook into the opening of the plastic canvas. I prefer to make it somewhere here next to the corner. And I grab the working thread, pull it like this, leave a free end here. Then I hold the free end like this so that the loop will stay, and make a single crochet like this, as a single crochet. So then we insert the hook into the next one and make 1 more single crochet. If you are a newbie, watch carefully. You insert the hook and then you pull the working thread so that you have a loop on your hook. Then you make a yarn over and pull it through both loops on the hook. So only the first stitch which we made it slightly different because it was just the starter stitch. And then we're going to do it all the same, like insert the hook into the next opening, grab the working thread, make this loop, don't tighten this one, and yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. Single crochet is ready. And so we go on working again. This free end we work into the stitches so that we don't have to fix it separately. It's the easiest way, just leave it along the edge and work the stitches around it. So we insert the hook into the opening, make sure that this free end is inside like this, pull the yarn and make the next single crochet. Again, pull the yarn and the next single crochet. On the corner we're going to make increases. That means that we'll make several stitches into one. When you have reached the first corner, and here we'll make 3 single crochets into 1. So instead of 1 we will make 3. That will be 2 increases, yeah? So 1 stitch in the same opening we make the second stitch, then in the same opening we make 1 more stitch. Here you see between the first and the second we will insert the marker so that we mark where we'll start counting. And the third one, so that in this corner stitch we have made 3 stitches. With my marker I have marked the middle stitch, yeah, the second one. This will help us when we will be making increases on the corners, when we'll start making the sides. So then go on moving in this direction till the next corner. We make the trimming with single crochets like this. Go on making single crochets into each new opening like this. Then when we reach next corner we'll do absolutely the same. We'll make 3 single crochets into 1. I'll show you when we reach next corner. So when you have reached the next corner, make 2 increases. That means you make 3 single crochets into 1 opening. Between the first and the second stitch in this opening, insert a marker. Exactly, let me see, exactly here. And the third into the same opening. Like this, okay? Then, likewise here along this side, we go on making single crochets in every opening with single crochets here. Go on working till the end of this row, making single crochets into every opening. Likewise, here and here on the corners we'll be making 2 increases, that is 3 stitches into 1. And don't forget to insert the marker between 2 stitches. When you reach this point, I'll then tell you how we finish it and start the trimming of the bottom. So I have almost finished the trimming on the edge. I have inserted markers at the corners. So now let's finish this together. I'll show you how we can cast off it so that it looks nice. Here is the last 2 openings. And so we make a stitch into one and into the next. Then we need to join it somehow, so you pull a slightly longer loop, cut it, and then here, watch carefully, I'll show you, we find the first horizontal stitch where we have started making the trimming. Here we have such upper braids. And the first one is kind of diagonal one, but we insert the hook into it, into the first one, like this, insert it from back to the right side, pull the working thread, and to the wrong side, pull it completely. Then turn our work like this. Have a look where you have started. You need to return this
stitch exactly into the stitch where you have started it. For this you need to insert the hook from the other side, from the wrong side upwards. Here you see I insert the hook into the middle of the stitch from the bottom to the right side upwards, and then back. So you see we have made a false slip stitch. It is a slip stitch that looks like all the other stitches. This free end we then can hide when we'll be working it into the stitches. So the contour trimming is ready. Now we need also to make the filling into the center of the canvas, and for this we're going to use a slightly different method. As here I have quite a thin strand, if I do it in one strand it will not be able to cover the plastic, it will be visible through the openings. Yeah, so that will not do. That's why we have to do this in two strands. To make it into strands we need to take the skein and make half of it to the other spool, for example, or something. I don't know, anything. It could be just anything that you have at hand. You can just even take a piece of carton, and then you need to take half of the skein onto the other spool. Of course, we're not going to use the whole skein for this, but just in case, you need to mount one half of the skein onto something separate. After you have made this, we will start the trimming. So here I have one half on one piece and one half on the other, and now I can take it in two strands so that one comes from one and one comes from the other. And we take the canvas. Here I have 70 openings. Yeah, so I need to make trimming in every 5 openings. I'll show you. So you need to divide the number of openings to some number that will be even number, the same, but the last one is going to be into slightly different. Here I'll show you later. And so according to the same principle, you can make trimming for any canvas that you have. You have just to separate the openings, to count the openings and divide it into 5, or it can be not even 5, maybe 4, so number that will be okay for you to divide, so that last one is more or less the same like all the others. Maybe just one opening less or smaller or bigger, it's okay if you cannot divide it into the same number of openings. For this bottom it's not very important. Now the canvas is now with the same side, so I haven't turned it. These braids here I see on the right side, they are facing me, and so like this I hold this canvas with the right side towards me, insert the hook into the corner where we have made an increase. Here I'll zoom in perhaps so that you can see, and insert the hook into the corner here where the increases were. So we take both strands, so it's going to be our working strand, both strands, like this, make a loop, and then we move along this line where we already have the stitches. The free ends you may leave for the time being, you will hide them a little bit later. So we make a slightly longer loop, as long as you need to cover 5 openings. So measure the length that you need for 5 openings, insert the hook into the 5th one like this, pull the working thread and make a stitch. Here you see I have torn the raffia, so I can just take it away like this. Then you take again next 5 openings, starting with the next one, not this one, but the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and insert the hook into the 5th opening, like this. Again, make a long loop. Pay attention that these loops should not be tight. They should not tighten our canvas and create waves. Again, count 5, starting with the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Now grab the working strands and make a stitch. So like this we are going to fill all the canvas for the trimming. Then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Insert it here and make a stitch. And so like this, according to this principle, we move till the end of this row. At the end of the row I will show you how we make a transition to the next. And so like this, zigzagging, we will be filling each row with this dance pattern. So we'll meet at the end of this row, and here I am at the end of this row, first row, and now I need to go to the next one. I have just to make last stitch into the last 5 stitches, insert the hook into the corner here. Here you may happen to have the loops, one is shorter, the other is longer, so in this case you need to undo it, then create a new one, hold both strands till you have made the stitch so that they are the same size. Like this, first row is ready. Yeah, I also wanted to tell you that the first stitch, this one, will be a little bit shorter than all the rest, because here you have to work it from 1 to 5th, and here you work it from the 6th to the next first, yeah? So we were counting 5 without counting this one where it started. So the first one and last one may be one opening smaller, but it is okay, it doesn't matter really. Then we turn our work so that we make a short joining slip stitch from the first into the second, just like this. In the next row, here, the second stitch, insert it and make a short slip stitch. Now I will turn my work, so make a very short slip stitch. And then we make already a big one, 5 openings length. This stitch we try to make shorter so that it will not be counted. And then we count 5 openings and insert the opening here next to this one, next to the opening where this one was, like this. Tighten it slightly here. Pull the working thread. And make a stitch. Just make sure that your stitches are not tight. See, I saw that this stitch is a little bit like something wrong with it, so you need sometimes to even it out before you go on working. And then first stitch of the second row is ready, and then we make stitch into next fifth opening into the same one. So you will see that we will have these stitches made in the same openings that are on one level. Yeah, so we make stitches one next to the other. Pull the working thread like this, and the next one, make a longer loop, and the next one, and so on. Next to the one in the previous row. So I think you already see that we make the same length stitches, so they will be made into corresponding openings one next to the other. Again, insert the hook, pull a longer loop, and make a slip stitch. I got entangled somewhere. Yeah, I can't pull it, so I have to undo it. And so like this, you go on moving till the end of this row. Here again, you'll make a short slip stitch and turn our work, and then you will have to fill all the canvas on your own, because I think that you have already understood the main principle. I'll show you once again how we work, and then you can go on working on your own. Here we are next to the end of the second row, so insert the hook for the last time here. Now make a short slip stitch to start a new row, and then in the next opening insert the hook, turn your work. Again, make a bigger loop, insert the hook here into the fifth opening, right next to the openings on the other side. Like this. So according to this principle, you go on moving row after the row here, filling all the canvas with these stitches. That's how it looks on the right side. And then when we make a wet heat, it will all be even nicer, because the stitches will be very straight. If you need, you can even add one more row of trimming on the edges along the perimeter to make it look even better. So go on working like this, zigzagging back and forth till you fill all the canvas, and then at the end I'll show you how we finish this work and start making the sides. And I have almost finished covering the canvas. Look how beautiful it looks. I decided to show you the last row, or maybe the one before last. And then we will meet when you have finished all the rows. You see here I have one more row to do. When we will be finishing, I'll show you how we can make
one more row of trimming. If you do not like these gaps, you can leave them, because if you use light raffia, it's absolutely okay, they won't be visible at all. But if you do not like it, I will show you one more option how you can cover them with one more additional row to cover these gaps. So now finish this row and make one more, the last one. And I have now really finished the filling of the canvas. I have several stitches to make. Like this. And the last one. Now, if you have enough, then you can cut and hide the free end. If you don't want to make additional trimming, then you need to pull this loop to the wrong side, hide it inside the stitches and cut. But I want to show you how to make one extra row of trimming. If you like to, you can cover these gaps that we have along this edge. So, and then here along this edge, we have finished the last row here, so now we need to make stitches here with the same joining slip stitches and long loops. But now we are going to make it not into every 5, but into every 2 or 3. It's how you like it better. I think I'd make it like here into each opening. You see these big holes, which I'd rather cover with one more additional row. So to make this, I need first to make a stitch here, right next to the one I have made last, so that I fix the thread here. And then I'll be making it into every other. So 1, 2, into the second stitch, make a slip stitch. Don't lose strands, yeah, remember working into strands. So 1, then again skip 2 stitches, skip 1, insert into the second. Try to make the stitches the same according to their size. And you see now it is really covering all the openings, so you see no holes. And like this, the bottom canvas will be fully covered. So let's work this row together. Then I'll show you how to finish the row, and then you can do the other row likewise. And now I have only last stitch to make. Like this. Make a longer loop, cut it, and now we will hide the free ends. So first we need to pull them to the wrong side. For this I insert the hook from the wrong side to the right side. Pull these free ends to the wrong side. Like this. And likewise we hide the free ends. Here it is easier to hide them just under the stitches, but for the time being I recommend you not to hide them. If you're a newbie and you're just starting to crochet, perhaps you will have to undo it. Perhaps you would like to change something, so now I'd recommend you to leave it. You will fix the free ends later when you'll be certain that everything is okay, the size is okay, and you're not going to change anything. So we'll do this right before we start making the lining. So for the time being we can leave the free ends. Now you need to make likewise here on this side, along this end. For this I take a new strand, 2 strands that is, of course, pull it to the right side, make a loop, and then start making stitches. Let me see. Yeah, start making stitches into every other opening. Yeah, first I will make a stitch here just to fix the thread. And then I'll be making it into every other opening. Main thing is to cover those holes between the stitches. And so go on working till the end of this side and then hide the free ends or just cut the free end and leave them for the time being. Then we will make a wet heat and have a look. It will not change much, but raffia just will be puffier and cover the holes even better. So I have prepared everything for the wet heat, that is, put some towel onto a flat surface and use your iron with steam. As you steam the raffia, you see the raffia will slightly change the color, but don't worry, when it dries it will have the color, the original color again. And now you see that all the stitches are very nice, so that you can now stretch it a little bit, give it some stretch to make it even more even. It was twisted and now it looks really straight. So now we go to the next stage. And our next stage here is going to start making the sides. In this bag we have a slightly untypical situation, because usually we would start it in the round, but here we will make one half and the next half separately and then the other side. So I'll show you now everything step by step. It's not difficult at all, it is just slightly different. We will then just sew it together and give the bag its peculiar shape. But before we start here, I recommend you to train a little bit and to understand the pattern first. I'm going to use the same raffia just in different color, because I think that in this color it will be easier for you to see the pattern. If you are a newbie, again, I recommend you to train a little bit. Even if you are not a newbie, I recommend you to train a little bit, and then when you have learned the pattern, you can just start making the bag. Even if you are experienced crocheter, then you need some time to understand the pattern and just train your hand to work this pattern. So make the starter or 0 stitch, short end, we cross on top of the long one, hold it like this, insert the hook from below, pull the working thread like this, and then tighten. Tighten this knot. It's not the first stitch, we do not count it yet. And now we will cast on 12 chains like this. Make a yarn over through the loop, make a yarn over, then through the loop. I show it for those who crochet for the first time, how we cast on stitches at the beginning. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's ready. In this case, we are not going to cast on. I just want to show you a sample. That's why I cast on the stitches, because we already have the bottom to start with. Then we skip 2 stitches. These 2 we skip like this. First is where the loop on the hook is, we don't count it. Yeah, and the second we skip and insert the hook into the third under the upper half loop like this.
Then pull the working thread and make one single crochet, then work all three together. So this is a double crochet interpretation. I like this interpretation a lot because I think that in this pattern, especially with the yarn that has melange effect, it looks very nice. Again, yarn over. Here we have already made a stitch, so we insert the hook into the next one under the upper half loop, pull the working thread. So now you see you have three, so you work first one and then make all three together. Instead of 2 and 2, yeah, like an ordinary double crochet, yeah, we make a yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch under the upper half loop, pull the working thread, work one, and then work all three together. So the texture of this pattern, it will depend a lot how you hold your stitches. So all the stitchers will have slightly different options. If you do not like, you need to undo it and find the way that you will like. Yeah, you can make a wet heat. By the way, if you have undone something and then you see that your raffia is twisted, don't worry, don't throw it away. You just need to make a wet heat. For example, I see that I need to work slightly tighter. So insert the hook, make a yarn over, and make one, and then make all three together. And I make a yarn over. To make your work tighter, this loop should be smaller, not a big one, but vice versa, smaller one. And then the one that you have here, that you pull through this loop, should be vice versa longer. So 1 and 3 together. Here you can work a little bit tighter or a little bit looser. It depends on your gauge, how you usually work. And so we work like this till the end of this row. And here we just train to make the pattern. It's a sample. It is the first row of the sample, the first row of this pattern, a variation of a double crochet, last stitch here, one and then 3 together. This knot that you have here, we don't work it, we just leave it because it's a 0 stitch. So the first row is ready. Then we make one lifting chain and turn our work. The second row of this pattern is going to be slightly different, but it is really easy. Here you can see the first opening, yeah, the first loop, the second, braid on top, and here we have such back half loops. We insert the hook from below upwards under one half loop, not under both, but only under one. Pull the working thread. Now we have 2 loops and we make together. Then again insert it upwards, only under one half loop here, and make like a single crochet. Again insert under the next, so you can really easily see these half loops. Just don't forget that you insert the hook from below upwards into every half loop. This is a single crochet, yeah, 2 together, that is a single crochet. If the first was the variation of double crochet, the second row is a variation of a single crochet. Just a basic element. And so we go on working till the end of the row. Here be careful. Here the last stitch might be a little bit tight, but you need to find it, don't skip it, although it's not easy to see it. To check whether you have worked all the stitches that you need, you can count the upper braids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You will have 10 single crochets. We cast on 12 stitches, as you remember, but 2 stitches we used for the lifting chain, and so we have 10 stitches in the base. That's why each row will be 10 stitches. In this case, 10 double crochets, or variation on a double crochet in our case, and 10 single crochets. Then we make 2 lifting chains again and turn our work, and we repeat the first row. So we'll be alternating the first row, that is the interpretation of double crochet, and then the next row, interpretation of the single crochet. And so you'll be alternating it all the time, these 2 rows, first and the second. And that actually is all. That is our pattern for the whole bag. So these 2 rows are the repeat. We're going to repeat these 2 rows all the time. So one repeat is 2 rows, a double crochet row and a single crochet row. I will make several more rows for you to see the pattern, and then when you have already trained and you are sure that you have learned this pattern, you can start making the bag. And so we make a yarn over, and now in each row, beginning of the row, we start not here, not into the first. Here we see a braid on top, so we have 2 lifting chains, and then we have the next braid, which already is from the stitch. We skip it and insert the hook into the next one. Again, have a look. This one we skip, yeah, if we count the openings here, so we skip the first. And starting with the second, we now make double crochet, that is the variation of double crochet. First one and then 3 together. Again, yarn over, then make 1 under the next stitch. Here we already insert hook under both half loops, yeah, not under one but under both half loops. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Yarn over, insert into the next, and here we see the braids, and under these braids we insert the hook, and work 1 separately and then all 3 together. A yarn over, again under the braid, and a double crochets variation. Yarn over, 1 separately and then 3 together. And so like this, go on working till the end of the row. Then I'll show you how we finish and start a new row. So I'll make a zoom in. I have nearly reached the end of this row. Here, have a look. The last stitch is slightly tightened, like this. If you insert the hook, you will see. So you see, this is our braid. And if the loop is tightened, you need to insert the hook and slightly widen it. So we make 1 more stitch here. One, and now have a look attentively in each row as we start, not in the first but in the second. We skip the first. we will need to check how many stitches we have. So now we have 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to make the 10th. For this, we are going to work into this side stitch right on the edge here, so that we have the same amount of stitches. Have a look where I insert the hook. Into this half loop between these two, you see? 1, 2. So I insert it like this again into the very edge of these two half loops. And pull the working thread, making a double crochet. Now we make a lifting chain and turn the work. So be careful when you are working the shopper. Here we will also be increases, I'll tell you later. Just make sure that you have to add one more stitch at the end, because you start with the second, not with the first one. So the third row is ready. Now we turn our work and make a variation of single crochet, starting with this first stitch. Here we do not skip one, we skip one only when we are making double crochet. And make a single crochet, and insert the hook under one half loop. Yeah, when we are making double crochets, we are making it into one half loop. And again insert and make a stitch. And then one more. And one more. And like this. Like this, we go on working till the end of this row, carefully with the last one. Do not skip it, because sometimes it's difficult to see it. Yeah. And then it is the last stitch that we make here. And make 2 lifting chains. Pay attention that the work starts being stretched. So the first one was looser. Yeah, it was made slightly looser. So try to make them the same. Try not to make one row tighter, other looser. Try to make your gauge the same, so that even the first row is the same as all the rest. So let's work a little bit more together. A yarn over, skip one. When we make double crochet, so we skip one, don't forget about it, and insert the hook here under the second, and go on working variation of double crochets till the end of this row. Yarn over, pull the loop, work one separately, and then work all 3 together. A yarn over, insert the hook into the next half loop, pull the loop, separately one, and then 3 together. Again, a yarn over, insert one, and then 3 together. A yarn over, insert, and then again 3 together. Yarn over, make a stitch, and then 1, and then 3 together. Yarn over, insert the hook, 1, 3, yarn over, insert the hook, pull, and then 1 and 3 together. And again, at the end of the row, don't forget about this last stitch that is slightly tighter. Don't forget to work a stitch into it. And also don't forget that as we have started from the second, we need to add one extra stitch at the end to compensate it for the first that we skipped. We make it into one horizontal and one vertical half loop here where they cross, and so we get one more stitch. Then make this additional double crochet, make a lifting chain and then a single crochet row, and so on, alternate these two rows. And then when we have done the 6th row, we'll have 3 repeats ready, 3 times by 2 rows, 2 rows of repeating 1 single crochet and 2 single crochet rows. And so now we turn our work and starting with the first stitch, where the single crochet row is we start with the first, and where double crochet row is we start with the second stitch. So, and here we work into the half loop only, like this. If you have to undo something and work again, then you can make a wet stitch or wet heat for this raffia, and then the raffia will be as new. So if you are making your sample from the same raffia that you are going to use for the shopper, make a wet heat for it. It will start looking like a new again, and then you can go on working the shopper with it. And the last stitch, don't forget about the last one here as well. Here we do not add anything, we make one extra stitch only in the double crochet row. So the sample is ready. I think that you have already trained this pattern enough, and now we can start working the back. You will see that as you were working, and now it will look much better than the first several rows because you have already learned this pattern. Maybe you'll need some more time to learn how to make this pattern till the time when you already can make it perfectly and you are satisfied with the result of your work. And so now we'll finally start making sides for the back actually. And I'll tell you everything step by step. First, I'll tell you how to make increases for 42 to 15 centimeters, and then I'll show you how we do it 32 to 12 centimeters. So prepare some markers so that you have them at hand. Now we will need to make the marking for the bottom, where we are going first of all where we start and finish, and then here we are going to make increases. We already have several markers, they are the corners, so let's start with them. So first we need to count the stitches where we start. How we count? We start counting from the next stitch after the marker, not the one where the marker is, but the next one here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 into here we have marker, so we need 26 to divide by 2 will get 13, so in every 13th stitch we will insert a marker. So again 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, that is stitch 13, so we insert a marker into it. That will be the beginning of one row, and the next row will be 13th from that side will be the beginning of the next row. And so here, okay, we have done this marking. We also need to make increases, one increase in the middle of each piece. On the corners also will be some increases. So if here you have 13, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So now 13 we need to divide, so into the 7th, 5, 6, 7, into the 7th stitch I will insert a marker that will mark the increase. And here as well a marker to the middle of this distance and to the middle of this distance as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into the 7th. On this side, the same. We need to find the middle and then 2 more times find the middle of those distances. Mark 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13. If you had a mistake and now you have different number of stitches, don't worry, 1 or 2 stitches is okay, even if you shift it slightly, but you just need to find the middle of your side, count your stitches and find the middle of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 into the 7th, insert the marker here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 7 here and here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now here we also need to insert markers. For this I will take and insert marker into every 6th stitch. There will be an increase. Here we have one marker on the corner, then we count 1 stitches starting from the next one and insert it into the 6th. So starting from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, insert a marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, insert a marker. And so on. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, insert the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, insert the next one. And so we go on, counting 6 stitches and inserting the marker each time into the 6th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. The last one will be shorter. It is okay. One stitch shorter. And so don't worry that here you will have 1 or 2 stitches more or less. It will be okay. The main important here is that you need to make 1 more stitch just to divide it evenly, but the canvas has this certain amount of opening, so it is okay. It's okay, it's not a big deal. And likewise you need to mark it on the other side, or we can start working on this side and then you can make the markers on the other side. Or perhaps I will insert markers at once so that I don't waste time then. Okay. So I want to show you how you can make a smaller size bag, and then you will have a smaller size bottom, and then the increases will change. Yeah, if we take the proportion of a bigger one, this one, and you can see that this one is much smaller, and the shopper itself will be much smaller, right? You see that it is much narrower, and here it is just several, maybe 5 centimeters less. So now talking about the increases that we'll have to make here, I'll show you as an example, and actually at this example you can count your measurements for any size of the canvas, for any size of the bag that you want to make. In the description down below I will give you the calculations so that you can follow the formula and make it for your own bag and for your own piece of canvas. Yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to tell you. It is that for this size of a smaller one, for a smaller bag, that is 32 centimeters, you will need 1 skein less. That is 250 meters less than for the bigger bag. So here you will have to use less raffia. I made several calculations. I wanted to make such a bag that will take just 4 skeins of raffia. And so when you have decided on the size of your bag, you need to calculate the number of openings. Here you need to have the even number of stitches. I have already marked with 3 markers the corner of the canvas. It means that here you will have 3 stitches, so 2 increases. And then I will just explain how these increases are going to be spread. Here we have 10 stitches. To the 5th and the 6th I'll insert the marker. Then we have an increase on the corner in the middle of this one, and starting with the next one, again we count 6 and insert the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and insert the marker. And so like this we go on moving till the next corner, counting 6 stitches and inserting the marker into the 6th one, and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pay attention, I start counting from the next opening, not the opening where the marker already is.
start counting from the next one. 5, 6, and so on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, two, three, four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 marker. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a marker. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, yeah. Into the 6 we have marker. And that is already the corner. So you see here the increase is going to be on the 7th one, this one in the middle on the corner. Here we'll have 6 and then we'll have 1, 7. Here likewise on this side, make between the 5th and the 6th opening. Here it doesn't matter if you shifted one stitch left or right, just try to spread it evenly. And so for any size of your bag, for any canvas, you can count how you spread your increases. In the first row we make these increases to give volume to the bag, and so each time you will have either 3 or 4 increases. So that's it. Now when we have marked these increases, maybe it would be useful to tell you that I'm going to have 1 meter of the yarn to 12 stitches. Yeah, 6 short ones and 6 long ones. You might have a slightly different number, but you can also count how much yarn you need for one, how much yarn you need for a certain amount of stitches, or how many stitches you can make in 1 meter. It depends on your gauge. And then you will know how much you need for the bag if you are going to change the size of the bag. If you are going to use a different canvas and you are going to make it a different size, then you need to know the amount of stitches in the first row, and then you'll be able to count how much yarn you need. And then you'll know how many meters you need for one side, for example. And then you can count how much yarn you need in total. For the bottom, for the trimming of such a big bottom, I have used half a skein, maybe a little bit more than 1/2 skein, and for smaller one, of course, it will be less. For the handles, you need to have about 75 to 80%. That's about, over one skein, I mean, that's about 200 meters of raffia. And also we need some raffia for sewing, for trimming, so this also adds to the total amount of the yarn. I hope that was helpful, and now let's go on working. So we'll meet when we start the first side. So now calculations, if you are going to make a different size, for example, you want to make a smaller one, then you need to make sure that you have the right proportions if you change the size of shopper that I'm going to do. So I will draw, just simply draw the shopper. The width of the upper edge 65 centimeters, the height approximately 35, maybe 36. A smaller one will have following measurements. The bottom is 10 centimeters less, so I will also make 55 here, 10 centimeters less, yeah, smaller. We need to find this height. According to the proportion rule, we will make equation 65 is 35. And so 65 and then 55 will be in the same relation to x. And now we will crisscross it and multiply x by 65. That will be 35 multiplied by 55. This way we can find the meaning of x. So, x is going to be 35 multiplied by 55 and divided by 65. I have already counted it, and it is 29 centimeters, with a little bit more. So approximately 29 centimeters, maybe 30 centimeters, will be this height. It also depends on the yarn, depends on your gauge. Yeah, more or less the widths may be slightly different. It depends on the folds that you're going to make as well. But so that you know approximately what height you need, when you have made 29 centimeters, you can already make folds, have a look whether it is okay, whether you like the proportion that you get as a result, then you can just stop and start making the trims. So I have made marks on both sides, and now we will start working on the side here where we have two markers together. On the right side, yeah, the bottom now is on its right side facing you, and we're going to start like this and go anti-clockwise. So I insert the hook, have a look attentively. Now I will turn this. I insert the hook into the opening where the marker was, here into this one, and then behind this one, there is a horizontal half loop, a back half loop, yeah? So in the first row you can see that we inserted under these both, and then the third one there, a back half loop. As we are working in one strand, we take our working thread, pull the working thread here, this free end I'll leave, I will hide it later. Take a working thread and make 2 lifting chains, 1 and 2. Make a yarn over. Here we will make an increase. Into the same opening we make an increase. And make the variation of a double crochet when we work first 1 and then all 3 together. And then we go on working without any increases till the next marker, make a yarn over, and then insert the hook under 3 half loops, under both half loops, plus also under 1 back half loop there on the wrong side. Till the next marker. At the next marker, we will have to make an increase. So here also please pay attention at the gauge. Make sure that you try to work, at least try to work with the same gauge. Don't forget that you insert the hook under 3 half loops at once, like this. A yarn over and the next one till the marker. And one more. A yarn over 1 and 3 together. And yeah, and one more. Till the marker we have one more stitch. Here it is. So a double crochet. Here is a yarn over that I haven't made. Wait, I'll have to undo it. Like this. 1, 2, 3. Take off the marker and make a yarn over. Into this stitch we are going to make an increase, 2 double crochets into 1 in the stitch where the marker was. Yeah, here first yarn over, into the same opening make the second double crochet. Pay attention that when you meet such knots, for example the raffia was torn, it's okay, don't worry, but try to hide such knots inside the raffia, inside the stitch I mean, so that these knots aren't visible. And then go on working till the corner without any increases, making double crochets, 1 double crochet in each stitch. I think that you have already understood the main principle, so if you haven't understood the pattern yet, you can return, come back and watch again. And now when you have reached the marker again, we make an increase, 2 double crochets into 1 in this place. 3, a yarn over, and in the same opening 1 and 3 together, so 2 double crochets, and the next one. So you see now we have turned and we're going to start making the side, this long side, and just go on working likewise till the next marker. You make ordinary double crochet variation. At the marker you make 2 double crochets into 1. I'll show you how we make the increases, and then you can go on working on your own till the end of this row. At the next marker, again make an increase. Okay, increase is made, and now we can go on working till next marker. Yeah, on the corner, have a look. We need to insert the marker. Here is the increase where we have 2 stitches made out of 1 stitch, right? So we need to insert the marker here between the first and the second. I'll then explain why we do this, why do we need this. Then go on working like this till the next marker, and at each marker make an increase. On the corners we also make increases, and we will stop here in the middle of this side. and then we will turn our work and we'll be working back and forth. In this case, we are going to work just half of back and forth. So I have reached this corner. At the corner, I'm making an increase again. Into the same opening, make one more here at the corner, make increases. And don't forget to insert the marker to mark the place where you have made an increase right at the corner. Then a yarn over and go on working till the next marker, and so on. I will show you how I make the last increase, stop and turn my work. So I have reached this marker, I make an increase at the marker. And so we make an increase and go on working till the next marker. At the last marker, we make an increase. One and two. So now make this loop slightly longer. Check your first row, make sure that you like the way it looks. And now from the marker till this marker, we will have 98 stitches. I have already counted them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 increases on one side. So 98 plus 17, that is 115. 115 will be on one side and 115 on the other. But actually now I have 114. As the first two were lifting chains, instead of the stitch. I'm going to show you a close-up at the beginning of the row so that you understand the number of stitches. So actually we count the stitches by these braids on top, and we need to make 114 because the first one were just lifting chains. 98 plus 17, that is 115, but this first stitch, you see, this one, it was not a stitch, it was two lifting chains and they don't have a braid, so we cannot count it. So it is okay, we have 114 braids on top if you count by braids, but we have one more stitch here. It's just in this row, at the first row. Just pay attention so that you don't make a mistake. You will have 114 stitches plus one lifting chain. But even if you don't have 114, if you have 113, it's not very big problem, it won't be visible at all.
as the shopper is huge, and when we have such volume, one stitch doesn't count. So we go on working, and we're going to work back and forth. We'll be making increases, and next row we will be adding all the time the increases in every row. 114 plus 3 will be 117, and then plus 3 120, and so on and so on. The number of stitches will be changing all the time. So now let's count, starting with this one here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 25 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 89 88 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 and 15, last one. So of course I recommend you to check and to count every row, but when you're making such a big bag it's a little bit difficult to count every row and time consuming. So I recommend you all the following rows where you will have increases. There will be not as many increases as we made in the first. We'll have just 4 and 3 increases. So what I recommend you to do, those increases that you can skip, they will be here on the corners. So we have markers for them, and we will also have an increase at the beginning always. We'll always make an increase at the beginning, and we always make an increase only on the double crochets. On the single crochets we will not be making any increases at all. So you can remember at once that you make increases only on double crochets. At each beginning of a double crochet row we will be making an increase. Here at the end we will also be making an increase in row in every other row, yeah, and on the corners we'll make in every row. I will show you step by step, so do not get frustrated now. Just keep markers on the corners, and beginning at the end you just remember that we will have to make an increase at the beginning and at the end. This way you will remember where you need to make increases. On the corners keep markers on each row because they will remind you to make an increase. So go on working back and forth. We make a lifting chain as always, turn our work now, and the single crochet rows will be worked on the wrong side. Here we'll be making single crochets starting from the first one, right from the first one here. Here it is, and we are going to work single crochets into one half loop. Only under one half loop we insert the hook into the front half loop, that is. And make a single crochet into the next one, make the next single crochet.
then the next, make a single crochet under one half loop. Insert and make a single crochet, and each next one insert the hook and make a single crochet. And so like this, go on working, but pay attention that it may seem that the braid is here because these back half loops look almost like a braid, but it's not the braid. No, here be attentive, the braid is on top. You need slightly to turn it like this. You'll see the braid that is on top, that really is our front and back half loop. On the sample we didn't have this because it wasn't so big and it was not twisting, and here where we have such a big piece it starts twisting, so just pay attention that you insert the hook into the right half loops. And so like this, go on working till the end of this piece, that is a half of this back, till the next middle of the side, from the side of the back to the side of the back to the middle of the side. When we have a marker, we just make an increase at the double crochet rows and do not make an increase at the single crochet row. Just don't forget to insert the marker so that you don't forget to make an increase. So just, even if you are experienced, I still recommend you to keep the marker on the corner, because here you have to make an increase on the double crochet row. So we make a single crochet and just return the marker here. So on this single crochet row we do not make increases. And so like this, go on working till this point. Here we also will just replace the marker and make no increases, and here we will just make last stitches, make a lifting chain and turn our work to the right side, where we'll be making double crochets in the third row. There I will show you how we start making the increases. You will understand the main principle, and when you have already understood the main principle of increases, you can go on working the height of the back that you need. So go on working now till the other middle of the side, and then we'll meet. Now I have reached this end of the first part. Make last several stitches. Here one before the last, and the last stitch is a little bit hidden, but don't forget to make it here. Here is this braid, which is a little bit tightened at the first stitch here. Here the side will be on the side, or you will have a straight edge. Then it means that you have made the number of stitches right, yeah? So no jogs, no steps, a straight edge. The first repeat is ready, that is a double crochet row and then a single crochet row. Now we start the second repeat. Again we'll be making double crochet row and a single crochet row. And like this we'll repeat it 18 times in total. Here you can use different colors if you like. You can change the color for different rows. I'll show you how you can do this. I will also explain how we make increases, and then I'll give you calculations for a smaller size of the bag, and then show you how it will look and how we can use the second color for this bag. So to start the third row, we need to do the same. To start each row, we need to do the same. We make two chains to start we skip the first stitch. This one we skip. Make an yarn over and insert the hook into the next one under this braid. Pull the working thread, first work one and then work all three together. That is our double crochet variation. Then into the same opening here where we have already made the hook, we will make an increase. So always at the beginning of the row, each row will be started with 2 lifting chains and then 2 single crochets into one. 2 double crochets, that is, of course, 2 double crochets into one. So this is the first increase of this row and of any other row. Then we'll make increases on the corners and at the edge. We will not, here at the end, we will not be making because we have already made it in the row before this. In double crochets, we'll be making these increases at the end of the row in every other double crochet row. So be careful, in every other double crochet row, not single crochet. Now we go on working double crochets. 1 double crochet into 1 stitch. We insert the hook under both half loops here. It's important, note this, under both half loops, and go on working like this till the next marker. We work 1 and then 3 together, just like we usually do. If you are a newbie, then you might skip a stitch. So be careful, and if you skip a lot, it's better to undo it and do it again. If you have skipped one, it's okay, don't worry. But of course, try not to, rather not to skip. And so like this, we're making a double crochet into every stitch under both half loops. Here I'm not going to show it in every detail because I think that you have already learned this pattern by heart. So the third row, we work like this, like a double crochet row under both half loops. And so go on working till the first marker. At the first marker, I'll show you again how we do an increase, how we insert the marker back again, and then you can go on working till the end of this row, making an increase on the corner at the beginning of the row. We'll start the fourth row, that is going to be a single crochet row. So now at the corner here, we make an increase, that 2 double crochets into one, and then don't forget to return the marker to its place on the corner, and then go on working till the next corner, making just double crochets. Don't forget to make an increase at the corner where you have the next marker. So I finish the third row, and here I have almost reached the end. I have made an increase at the corner. So you see here we have one more, but it's slightly difficult to see it, so be attentive, do not skip it. Here we have one more stitch of this row that we have to work. And a yarn over. Don't forget that on double crochets we have to add one stitch at the end here. Here we will add one. In the next double crochet row we will add two. That will be our increase, but here we add just one. So why do we do this? Why do we change the amount of increases here? Because the bag will start going into the diagonal. It will have such a tilt, which I don't want to. So we don't need such a big tilt. That's why but on the other side there will be no such effect. So that you have the same sides and you do not have this diagonal tilt only on one side, we need to alternate the increases in every other double crochet row. And so again we make a single crochet row where we do not make increases. We start with the first stitch without skipping anything, and we'll just be working into one half loop. We need to find the right braid, which is this one, not the back half loop here that you can see clearly, but the half loop that you cannot see clearly. Yeah? So we need to take the right front half loop here. Insert the hook under one front half loop here. I will show you a close-up a little bit and then you can go on working on your own. So make a single crochet under this one half loop. So don't forget to turn it, choose the right half loop here, and that's it. And go working like this with single crochets till the end of this piece. At the end of the row we'll meet and I show you what we do next. So we finished the fourth row. Again, don't forget that here at the end we have the last one, which is slightly tight, so we need to find it, not skip it accidentally. And also pay attention that here you have a straight edge. If you have made the right number of stitches, then you will get a straight edge. If you have some waves, some jogs here, then it's not okay. Then you don't have the right number of stitches, you need to find your mistake. If you have a straight, nice edge, then it is okay. So now I want to show you how we make a transition for the other color. If you want to make a two-colored bag, you need to make a lifting chain already with the next color. For example, I'm going to make black. I'll show you just a little piece of it. If you want to start a new color, because I'm not going to start it yet, I will start a little bit later. You can as well start it here. So I insert our loop here, a new color into this loop, leave the free end, and make a 1, 2. This free end I will cut and tie together like this with the working thread. I'll make one knot because I'm not going to start black color yet, I'll start later. I just want to show you as an example. Then here we'll be sewing together, and so all these free ends we will hide. Really easy. Now then we turn our work and just continue working likewise with the other color. So when we make a double crochet row, we start with a second and we make an increase at the beginning of the row. Into the same opening we make the second double crochet here, So all the same, just with other color. 3, then in the next stitch, and so on till the marker. Go on working our double crochets without any increases. At the corner, make an increase. And so you go on working like in the row before the previous one, but at the end here you will make an increase. The second row you can make with the same color, or you can start a new color, so coloring here is up to you, because we're going to sew it here. All those knots will be hidden inside, so just don't worry about them. Here you can alternate the colors as you like and make it stripy as you like. I'm not going to start black color yet, I will continue working with pink. I just wanted to show you there is such an option to change the color here. I'll make 2 lifting chains, make an increase, 2 double crochets into one, and then continue working just double crochets, ordinary double crochets in this row till the marker. In this row we will have 4 increases. Yeah, you remember we alternate increases in double crochet. In one double crochet row we make 3 increases without the increase at the end. In the next double crochet we make 4 increases with the increase at the beginning and at the end. And so like this you need to go on moving, repeating these 2 rows. That will be 18 repeats or 66 rows in total. So when you have made the first side, I'll show you how we can start the second. When you start a new color, that can be anywhere, not only at the beginning of the repeat, but if you have 5 skeins and 4 of them, for example, pink and 1 black, then you have to understand that 1 skein will be for 11 repeats. Yeah, so you need to calculate how many black or other color rows you can make. That can be 22 rows or 11 repeats of 2 rows. You need to spread the material so that you make some amount of these black stripes. So you have to calculate how much you have for the pattern so that you can spread it and you don't run out of it. If you have enough, then you don't have to worry. If you have 3 skeins of one color, 2 skeins of other color, here you can make a lot of stripes. So we work 18 repeats, but pay attention that we do not make the last row of the 18 repeat. So I have made about 36 centimeters in height. If, for example, you have 36, 37 at 17 repeats, that's also okay, then you have to stop. I want to show you this simple joining of the yarn. When you run out of the yarn, you need to adjust the next one. I do not glue it, I do not make anything complicated, I just make a knot and then I hide this knot inside the stitch so that it is not visible. It's simple and it makes a strong connection so that it will not come off somehow. Just make a knot and make sure that you hide it inside the stitch so that it is not on the surface, it is not visible. Here you just need to hide it. Yeah, if you see that here comes a knot, you just tighten or loosen the loop so that the end will be, this knot with the end will be inside, and that's it. This way it's really easy. And so you can go on working with a new strand from the new skein. All these three ends that we have now we will hide. Additionally, after this, we might even glue them to make sure. As you see, I have already made several repeats, one repeat of black, and now again I'll be changing color to the black, and I'll show you how I do this so that you can see. So I have finished this row and I have reached the moment when I want to start a black color again. I do not make a lifting chain, I cut this thread, the pink one, and I make lifting chain already with the black color or the next color that you want to introduce. So I make two chains because I'm going to work a double crochet row here. And now these three ends I tie together, making two knots, and also don't forget that you will hide these three ends so they won't be visible. I turn my work and make a double crochet row. Make a yarn over, skip one, we start double crochet row with the second, we skip the first, and make an increase. And go on working according to the pattern. I make an increase at the beginning, that is 2 double crochets into one. And so like this, go on working till you have the height of the bag that you need, changing the color where you like. And when we'll need to make a transition to the pink, we will do likewise. We will cut the black, tie it together with the pink, and just make lifting chain with a new color already and go on working. Well, actually that's all. Now you can continue working on your own, making height of the sides of the bag as high as you need. So I have almost finished the sides of this bag. That is the first piece, I mean, yeah, the first part. I finish now with the double crochet row. So the short row, the single crochet row, here we will not be making. We finish at the middle of this repeat because we are going to join together, to sew together the folds. We don't need one more row, it will be when we'll be making the folds. Then we will make a wet heat, and at last I ran out of the skein, so I can do it like this. So let's have a look. It's difficult to show you this bag because it's so big, I can't even show it on the camera. So let's have a look how many repeats I have made. I'll be counting 2 stitches. Yeah, one repeat is 2 stitches, a double crochet row and a single crochet row. So we start with a double crochet row, that is important. Let's count one. I just count 2 rows, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So one more row will be the row when we will be joining the folds together. That's why I don't make it now. Now I will stop at this, and when we have already made the wet heat, we'll be able to make the last row. I decided to make three stripes of black color. For these I have used for three repeats. Yeah, each stripe is 2 strands, 1 repeat. Yeah, so I made the 6th repeat, the 9th and the 11th repeat of 2 rows with a black color. You can do it likewise, or you can do it your own way. For these black stripes, for these 3 repeats, I have used quite a lot of material, and on the other side also count that on the other side you will have these stripes as well. So maybe I will run out of black and will not have enough for black handles. So if you have only one skein of black, I recommend you to make 2 stripes. If you are going to make your handles black as well, just make 2 on a side, or make 1 wider one and 1 narrower one, or take 1 more skein of black color. So we start the second piece. I'll start together with you, and then you can go on working on your own. And then we'll make wet heat and measure our bag for the lining. So we start the second piece of the bag. It is worked absolutely the same like the first one. Here we have the markers where we're going to make creases. You can make different color combinations on one and the other side. You can make different number of stripes if you like. You can make it monochromatic, or you can as well use 2 colors. Here everything is absolutely up to you. So we have 98 stitches, and here we have 17 markers, which will stand for 17 increases. So you will have 114 stitches and 1 lifting chain. I'll work first and the second row together with you, and then you can go on working on your own. So let's get started. First, actually, I want to remind you that here we insert the hook only in this row, only at the beginning. We insert it inside under the back half loop and the half loop on the wrong side. You see 2 half loops. This one, upper half loop, and the back half loop. And make 2 double crochets. 2 chains, that is, sorry, 2 chains. And here we also make an increase, 2 double crochets in the same opening. So you see, here is our increase. Then we go on working till the next marker, and at the next marker we'll again make an increase. I'll try to show you. Do not skip the stitches here, because if you skip one stitch here, you will shift everything. Yeah. So here try not to skip it all. Try to make a single double crochet into each stitch, each next stitch. I do not show you now it in every detail because, well, you have already learned this pattern. Just go on working till the next marker. A yarn over, and the next one. A yarn over, and the next one. And then we make an increase. Here where the marker is, we make an increase, that is 2 double crochets into 1. 1,
and 2. So like this, you go on moving till the last marker. At each marker, make an increase. Go and work in this row on your own, and we meet when I have made one row, first row, on corners. I leave the markers, all the other markers I take off. Just don't forget that you make increases at the beginning, at the end, and on the corners. So now I turn my work, and the single crochet row I make on the wrong side of the bag. I'll show you a little bit so that you can continue working on your own. So here we start with the first stitch. We do not skip anything, and we work this row only under one half loop. This one, find the upper braid. Here it is, the braid that is the last one, and we need the front that is closer to us, the half loop that is closest to us. And so like this, go on moving till the end of this row, making single crochets without any increases. Just likewise, making single crochets. At the end of the row I will show you, and then you can go on working on your own. So I have almost finished the second row. Make last single crochet here. Last one will be slightly crooked. Yeah, so don't forget about it. Don't forget to make a stitch here as well. And if you count here on top, you will count 114 chains plus one lifting chain. So then you make 2 chains to start a new row, and that is a double crochet row where you make increases at the beginning, on the corners, and at the end. So we start by making one more double crochet in the same opening here, not here, in this row, not here, but in the second one, I mean, and we skip one and make 2 double crochets. And again, so skip one, insert the hook, make 1 double crochet, and make one more double crochet in the same opening, that is the increase at the beginning of the row. Go on moving on the corner, make also an increase, and then an increase at the end. Here in this row, it is the third row, let me see. Yeah, here we don't make, sorry, here we don't make an increase at the end because it is the third row. So go on working like this. The second piece, just like the first one. If you do not remember, you can rewind it and have a look how I was making the first piece. The second piece is just the same as the first one. So go on working, and we'll meet when you have made this piece. So I have made 2 sides of the bag. They're absolutely the same. That's how it looks now. Here, as you see, I have a lot of free ends. So before we will be sewing these 2 pieces together, I will have to hide it. I'll show you how we can hide them. For this we will need some glue. So now we will go to the stage of wet heat. And
we will measure the bag and then we'll start making the folds. So for the wet heat, I need some towel. Put it onto the table so that I can put my bag and make a wet heat with steam. I'm going to make a wet heat on the one side. You can make it on both sides, on either side or on both sides. You just press the steam button if you have an iron or if you have a steam generator. Raffia will at once become puffier, it will have more volume, the stitches will look nicer, so I highly recommend it to do the wet heat because it makes it much better. And so I do the wet heat for both sides. After this, we will measure the bag. I'll measure one side and you need to measure your both sides to make sure. So I have made the wet heat. I put it on the surface so that I can make the measurement, take the measurement without folds yet. You see, the folds will change the side. For now, I measure just the base without folds, like this. And I get 112 centimeters. I want to pay your attention to the fact that your bag might be slightly different. Even if you were working the same pattern as I, your gauge is different, your raffia might be different, so it might be different. So you need to take your own measurements and do not rely on my measurements. So measure your bag. Likewise, you will have a different use of yarn for stripes, again because you might have different gauge. So my measurements are just approximate for you, you need to take your own ones. And the height here is a smaller one, 34. Yeah, 34, slightly smaller than the previous one, but I will add one more row of joining row and it will be 35. Okay. This bag will be slightly shorter, but maybe it will be stretched a little bit, so we will measure it when it will already be ready.